Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning everyone. My name Arista Pramudita and my friend Dwi Wulandari. How are you today? I hope Allah always bless us. Amin. Okay, today we will presentation chapter 9 about internal control or SPI. Number 1. What is the definition and purpose of SPI? Definition: Internal control structure or SPI is a matter that plays an important role in auditing. In the 2013 Public Accountant Professional Standard in SA 315 Part 4C state that gymnastic is a process that is designed, implemented, and maintained by those responsible for managing and other personnel to provide adequate confidence about achieving the objectives of an entity relating to the reliability of financial reporting, efficient and effectiveness of operation, and compliance with laws and regulations. The term control refers to every aspect of one more components of internal control. Purpose: maintain the security of the entity's financial reporting, maintain the effectiveness and efficiency of the operation carried out, maintain compliance with applicable laws and regulations. Number 2. Explain the basic concepts of SPI and the weakness of SPI. Basic concepts. A. Responsibility. Namely, management is responsible for establishing and maintaining the internal control structure. Special controls that must be included in the three elements of the internal control structure for a company depends on the size of the entity, organizational characteristic and ownership, the nature of its business activities, diversity, that is the complexity of its operation, data processing method, statutory requirements that must be obeyed. B. Reasonable or rational beliefs that management is not looking for an absolute level or absolute quality of the internal control structure of management, looking for a reasonable level. This is used to ensure that the objectives of internal control structure can be achieved. Two reasons for the use of fair words and not the absolute level. Both of these reasons are the hazard criteria of benefit is a critical point for management in every economic decision making. Second, realization that control does not have a significant effect on the efficiency and profitability of the company. C. The inherent limitation of internal control structure have inherent limitation in the internal control structure. The limitations of the material are caused partly by the human factor that perform that function of this limitation control procedure, which can be minimized or cannot be completely eliminated by other people inside or from outside who are independent. Second, control cannot lead to transaction. Not recognizing that cannot be applied to humans is not routine, such as an extraordinary event. D. Data processing method, namely the concept of control, can be applied to both manual and computerized data processing systems or electronic data processing or EDP. Manual systems are usually used in small companies, while EDP systems are widely used in international manufacturing, multinational, or global companies. Control has a dynamic nature. Control is not static. Change in environmental conditions may result in the need for modification of the control structure. Number 3. Explain the basic concepts of internal control. A. Internal control is an internal control process is the form of a series of actions that affect and integrate with an organization's infrastructure. B. Internal control functions effectively because of humans. Internal control is not merely a policy to be manual and involves various forms, but involves people within the organization, including the board of directors, management, and other regulation. C. Internal control is not intended to provide absolute guarantees, but to provide adequate guarantees due to weakness that exists in any internal control system. As good as any internal control will definitely have weakness. D. Internal control is expected to achieve goals that include financial, compliance, and operational reporting process.
Number 4. Explain some inherent weaknesses that are found in an entity. A. Mistakes in judgment in managers or other personalities may give wrong judgments in making decisions or in completing routine tasks. B. Failure may still be experienced due to the control that has been done, which is caused due to misunderstanding between personnel or due to carelessness in carrying out the task. C. The collusion of functions in an organization that should not be held by one individual is left to an individual or part than that individual or section performance action but with other employees of customers and suppliers so that financial data don't reflect actual facts. D. Management violation. Management can be violate policies that has been determined to get personal gain or manipulate financial condition. E. Cost versus benefit. Cost for the internal control system should not exceed the benefit expected by obtaining the problems is very difficult to measure with certainty the magnitude of the cost and benefits. Number 5. Explain the 5 components of COSO internal control. A. Control environment is the control environment establishes an organization, influencing the size of the control of its people. The control environment is the basis for all components of internal control, providing discipline and structure. B. Risk determination is the identification of entities and an analysis of risks that are relevant to achieving its objective, forming a basis for determining how risks should be managed. C. Information and communication is the identification of the threat of user capture and exchange of information in a form and time that allows people to carry out their responsibilities. D. Usage activities are policies and procedures that help ensure that management directives based on their activities help ensure that the action needed to overcome risks in achieving the entity's activities. E. Monitoring is a process that determines the quality of internal control performance over time. Monitoring includes determining the design and operation of timely controls and taking action. Number 6. Mention and explain the 5 control objectives. Validity. The transaction record must be a valid transaction. It's expected that the transactions record are no transactions that are fictitious transactions. Completeness. All transactions are recorded representing all events that occur and no transactions are missed. This means that all valid transactions have been recorded. Recording property. Detailed transaction recording has been included in the accurate recording and search of documents. Transactions that have been assessed, evaluated, classified, recorded, and posted in a timely and correct manner in accordance with common accounting principles. Safeguardings. Assets and documents can be kept or secured and accessed only by parties in accordance with management's authorization. No unauthorized party can access assets and documents. Subsequent accountability, responsibility, and record for each asset and debt compared to the actual form of each asset and debt. The comparison must be made at any given time interval. Number 7. Explain the relationship between procedures and control objectives. Control procedures. Between control procedures that are met with the desired control objectives have a very close relationship. For example, authorization is certainly made to understand the procedures for controlling the validity, completeness, recording property, safeguarding, subsequent accountability. Number 8. What are the reasons why the auditor need to understand the client's internal control structure? Understanding the client's internal control structure used by the auditor to identify potential forms of misstatement. Consider factors that influence the risk of material misstatements. Design substantive tests. By understanding the client's internal control structure, the auditor can assess auditability or whether an audit of the client's financial control can support activities to identify the types of potential errors and irregulation that might affect financial statements. This understanding can also be used to establish that errors and irregulation might occur in a material amount to the financial statements. Number 9. Mention and explain the 5 procedures that can be used to gather SPI understanding. Reviewing previous experience with clients, most audits of the company are carried continuously from years to years by the same public accounting firm. Thus, the auditor can start the audit with very adequate information about the elements of the client's internal control structure. Ask questions to management, supervisor, and staff personnel. The auditor can update and use information regarding understanding the client's internal control structure and prior to the current year's audit. Inspect documents and records. The control environment has depth, which includes in the form of a detailed accounting system and the application of control procedures. The two sub-elements of the control environment procedure a lot of documents and records. Observing the activities and operation of the entity in addition to supporting the inspection tool, the auditor can observe the client's staff and employees in carrying out activities and controlling operations.
Study the procedures manual and other controls policies to design, implement, and maintain internal control structures. Each company must have adequate documentation regarding its internal control structures.
Number 10. Explain about 3 documentation of SPI. Understanding internal control questionnaire, namely internal control, contains questions regarding the operation of internal control policies and procedures. Is a method that is widely used by auditors to document an understanding of the client's internal control structure for each transaction. The questions raised can be made in such a way that the answer is sufficient to say yes or no. Flowchart of internal control is a symbolic representation in the form of diagrams that explain the client documents and the flow of documents in the organization. Thus, a system is described by using certain symbols. Narrative description is a written description that contains a commentary on the auditor's judgment or judgment regarding the structures of internal control. The merit of this method is the use of narrative description is common because it's easy and simple to carry out its weaknesses. Is the difficulty of describing the details of internal control structures into simple and clear words. Thank you very much for your attention. We hope you understand about our presentation. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bye bye.